Just checking. Is the screen up? I think I misspelled it. Oh well. Anyway, one if you're in the chat, so no bad start. But anyway, welcome on to this edition of League of Ireland podcast, and we're in the studio with the one and only LOI John. You can't. Yeah. How are you, John?
All good, Dale, and yourself, bud.
All good, all good. Being doing a podcast for like a couple of episodes there, sir.
A long time ago. I usually try and stay quiet.
Yeah.
Do most of me chatting in the chats.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, tell the viewers what you call a wee bit of yourself before we get going.
I think at this stage it's either myself or Budge that's the oldest racer in the grid. Like,
Right.
I think we're both in 1984, so
Oh.
we're probably both the only two, along with anyone that's a retro gamer that's been playing racing games since
Yeah.
the early days, going back to like Senna Monaco Grand Prix on the Mega Drive and shit. But that's probably the only claim I can have in F1 games, is that I think I've played every PlayStation iteration of F1 over the years, between the original PS1 through
Yeah.
to today. But no, like I've always been a massive fan of motorsport, and like racing games is always a nice thing that you, even when there wasn't an online element, that you could keep yourself busy and
Yeah.
just keep your head going when you wanted to get away from the world.
Absolutely. So what you call it? You're massive into motorsport. So
Oh yeah,
I
look, if it's four wheels or two, like, I'll probably be watching it.
absolutely. So what you call it? So wait, go on. How you find the League of Ireland when you first joined around season 3, which is by
Yeah,
donkey
look, man,
years on this.
it says out a long ago, because like it's one of those weird things. I was just doing some five lappers.
Mhm.
So an Irish lad around Mexico get spun out at the first corner and like
Mhm.
get back to like second after losing about 20 seconds, and then got the DM from Big Pa. And
Mhm.
you know yourself, like when you
Yeah.
first, like, especially if you're just playing for the crack or whatever, you start to see messages coming in and you have that trepidation of, you're waiting for, you're a dickhead, you're an arsehole, or whatever. Like, wasn't me that punted him, and he just said, look, I run the league. If you're interested in racing, give me a shout. So
You ca-
the rest is history, and went in as a reserve in Mexico in
yeah.
Tier 3, and pretty much spent most of my time here since in that tier, or in Tier
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, what do you call it? What, like, unexpected to get that message from Paddy at the time, or like, what do you call it?
Oh yeah, like, I'll be honest, like, I used to play like on Grand Prix, and
Mm,
I think it was F1 2006 Championship Edition, that there was like reasonable online communities that you could
mm,
either play on the LAN or through the PS network. So like, those are my earliest shows, but I'd never got into anything that was as organised as this.
yeah,
So to speak, I was just always doing random online lobbies,
ab-
or like in the earlier days playing Gran Turismo.
absolutely. So, what do you call it? I think at season 3, at the time you were reserve, if I'm not mistaken, or
Yeah, I
was it?
did. I think it was the last 3 or 4 races of the season I did. Like, and obviously that was the mental season where
Mm.
Gary got murdered twice in
Oh,
Belgium, and the Go took his first Tier 3 title. The old Drain machine.
worry
Like,
drain.
still scoring points every week ever since.
Exactly.
It's like if there's a person with more points finishes than Rory Drain in this league at this stage, I don't know who it could be.
Could be anyone, with, to be quite frankly. So,
Ah, if it's like like especially like for tier 2 and tier 3, like he is just like the perfect benchmark for like gatekeeping at times, because like you know exactly that he's gonna get the most he can out of
mm,
that car every week, and if something happens that gives him a sniff of a better result, like he usually takes that
mm,
chance and opportunity, and he's had championship charges built on it as well.
abs- absolutely. So, what do you call it? First, I think your first full season is a season later. It was, see, I think,
Yeah, season 4 was first full one that was what the hell was it in? It was in a McLaren with Kachiga,
uh,
and wasn't a
uh,
bad season, wasn't a great season, but like
decent enough.
well, it took me first win at the end of that season. It took me about 8 seasons more to get another one, but
Uh,
like that was the famous Badger side race. It's like poor Badger went in with
uh,
a nice, comfortable championship lead, and it all went awry with him
uh,
and Benji. Uh,
uh,
we don't talk about that too much.
no, we don't. It's a like long story short. It's kind of like if you watch it, what you call it, season finale in tier 3, season 4, you know what we're talking about. If you're,
Yeah, it's one of those. It's worth just trying to find for the commentary, because you can hear the sound of disbelief in the boys' voices. It's just like, 'cause they know what they've seen. They're just not sure that they saw it, and it's just like, oh
no,
fuck. Oh.
no, when I first time I saw it, it was like, what the hell has just happened?
Look, man,
Like,
it's
y-
one of those like moments in the league that like
yeah, it's
anyone that was around at that time can like point to and know exactly what you're talking about as soon as you mention the word Badger.
yeah, it's like I think I wasn't aware of it at the time, like because I joined the league a season later or something like that. So, what you call it, then I realized that everyone talking about Badger is like, oh, then I
Yeah.
realized it's like, I had to look it up for myself, and yep, that's happened.
It's just like it's one of those that he's like so unlucky to lose a championship that way. But like even today, I wouldn't think there was any malice. Even though the two boys didn't get along, I don't think
Mm.
Ben would have done anything deliberate. It was just one of those unfortunate series of events.
Oh, it kind of like from one to the other, like,
Exactly. Yeah.
oh. So what you call it? I think it was F1 2020 game, if I'm not like at the time before.
Yeah, I think
That's
I think that was like basically I joined the second season, like full time the second season of
yeah.
2020, and then like wasn't too like I didn't mind that game too much because you still had all the engine modes and all that sort of thing. I hated 21 with a passion because of the corpse,
Mhm.
like that you basically couldn't get up on any of them. It
Yeah.
took so long to get used to or figure out setups for it.
It it's more or less you have to avoid the curbs at all costs in 21 game compared to like rest of recent games or something like that. Well, you still have to avoid the curbs at
Yeah,
best of your ability.
it was just one of those that you like, especially on pad, you didn't seem to be able to ride the course at
Mm.
all. If you hit anything the wrong way, you were just insta half spin or spin, and it was so bloody frustrating because you know yourself, like you could do things right 90% of the time, and then
Mm.
just one touch in the wrong place on the curb, and it was like, oh right, I'm
Like yeah,
spinning.
yeah.
I'm as a spin. What the hell's going on here?
Oh, I still mind Master Spin at the time he was in F1, so it kind of like
There,
no.
there isn't. There's nothing worse than that feeling of helplessness as you see the back end of the car just it's starting to go on, especially for me because I'm in rear chase anyway.
Mm.
So you're just watching that little pirouette and going, fuck, what the hell? Come on.
So what you call, speaking of chase cam before going into the season, how you find with what you call chase cam compared to like the rest of the camera settings? Like that's a
And now I'm in the minority using chase. I think me and Drain are two of the only things. Johnny Bastille I think used to use it as well, but it's just one of those I used to use TV pod in like F1 2001, but my eyes have never been able to readjust to it when I went back to like playing later PlayStation games. And it's just like I don't know why. So it's easier for me because that was primarily the view you had when like I was playing games early on as well. So it's never really bothered me. I've always looked at it as like there's disadvantages and there's advantages because you can have a bit more spatial awareness. You're not guessing where another car is because you have that field of view. But it can be it can be useful and frustrating all at once. Like I'll never be as precise as anyone that's using like TV pod, but in the same way, like there's some people that can like struggle with TV pod but can use cockpit.
Yeah.
But like I think everyone to their own in that respect, and like you just try and find what way is the quickest for you. I remember we were doing Baran Short first season opener, like we were doing a 100% race, I think it was.
Oh yes, that's
like
right.
I'd done all my practice with. I wasn't on TV pod. I was using what's the one where it's to the side
TV pod offset.
Yeah, and I basically centered it because I wanted to have that further back in the car. And I was like, I can't remember who was talking. It might have been Farrell or Khan, and I was sharing my screen. They're like, "How the fuck are you driving with that?" And it's just like, it's the only way my eyes can adjust. I can't do it from the one that's further forward. I can't actually make a corner. I miss every fucking apex. I just don't react fast enough to it. But it's just like it's one of those weird things when you see some people and like they're so set in a particular way, and like everyone has that to an extent with certain things within the game, whether like it's lads on wheel or pad that they'll want particular settings just to get it right for them. And if it's adjusted, it's a bit messy. Like if anyone's played like F1 97, there was like the normal rear chase, but there was also like what felt like a fucking helicopter rear chase that you're sort of like up in the air above the car. And it's just it was a weird thing, but like you had it in the original as well. And like the sickest view that I've ever seen in an F1 game was you used to have the TV mode on the original PlayStation game.
Oh.
So like basically your spectator view that you have on the stream.
Yep.
You were playing the TV director mode of that.
Oh.
You're just like going, holy fuck! How anyone could do anything in that is beyond me.
Like, imagine add that to what you call spectator mode. To that is like how to use right cameras for like the action altogether. If I'm rightly saying that.
No, that's it exactly. It's basically like that, like the trackside camera that you'd have on the TV feed. And so it was one of those. I don't know whose bright spark idea it was, but it was just one of those where you're going, oh, and because it was so like you could, like in those days it was just pressing triangle to change your views, and because there was only like 5 or 6 views, you could so easily get to that mode accidentally. It's just like, nightmare if you ever did it.
It's like what you call it. I wish I have a change of what you call it, button for change of camera view, but it's like didn't have a button for like this game or recent games or like
yeah. Well, look, you you can still program it in, but like you end up doubling up a button or losing something else that you want to have access to, so it's not really worth it in the end. Because like you got like, especially if you're like if you're doing it to get like a bit of view on the strike, cool. But like if you're got, can you imagine like if you're on a short strike and you accidentally change it, you're never getting back to your viewpoint because you can't do a quick reset to it. You have to go through all the views to get back to square one, which is always the fucking nightmare. Oh.
It is a nightmare. So what do you call it? Go back to what you call it, season 5, which is came 5th in the championship from so you're only 5th in the championship with 89 points in that one, if I remember correctly.
I think that was the first of me Ferrari years.
Yeah, first of Ferrari years.
I'll be honest, I can't remember much about the season. I'm actually just diving into my phone because I think I have all the old standing sheets still, so I can have an actual look at who was doing what.
Yeah, it's like you got a podium in Brazil on the very final race of the season at the time.
Oh, then that was the year where we had Conzo and Joe Mack and the rest of the sickos.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
Ratcliffe as well.
I think I got poor Conzo two qualifying bans in that Brazil race because I'm fairly sure I qualified on pole. I think I had a run of 2 or 3 seasons where I literally qualified on pole the last race of the season. It was just one of those weird ones, but like that race was an absolute mess because it was I can't remember if it coincided with like the Champions League final because it was a re-rack, or if it was the UEFA Cup or like a European Championship or something.
I think it was Europa League at the time.
Yeah, because like I just remember that we only had like 10 or 11 people in it because it's like I think Wheelo subbed and scored like 7th or something. In it was one of those races that was fucking mental, but like that race was that season for the most part was the big three, like Conzo, Joe Mack, and Ben Ratcliffe.
Yep.
Like I think that was Ben Ratcliffe's first season up in 3 because he was in tier 4 the season before that, and he'd like used to pop in for a few races, score a couple of podiums, and then you had. Then you had the likes of say like Decky Ferg that had dropped down. I think that year from tier 2. It was like just horrendously unlucky results. He had Glenn Mack as well. Like he was always lightning fast, but it was whether or not he'd show up every week was his biggest thing.
Yes. I still remember Glenn Mack fully. He's always good in qualifying, but not in the race particularly. Like, I think he's always like one of them lads like qualify well.
Like that was it. He always had a quality time trial and was like generally fast, but he always have a mistake in him.
It definitely is. That's what first time I've seen Glenn Mack like good in quality, but it's like the races just lets him down.
Yeah, look, I think a lot of us can say the same.
Yeah, I'm saying the same thing in fairness, but I can't say much to myself. I find my race pace a lot better than quality, so.
I think it was the following season was the season with the Fawns. Like I think Fawns switched to wheel like I think 2 or 3 races in. Like he's definitely the person that was like the fastest convert I'd ever seen from like pad to wheel, just like results wise. As he went from like I think it was Austria. It was possibly the first or second race that he did it on. Like he had it on, and then
I think 6th race in the season if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, it was just like at Austria we'd found out he was definitely on the wheel. But,
okay.
He had a bad race there, but after that, he just was destroying us. Like I think he might have been on the podium practically every race after that.
He got
Like, because I like up to a point there was like myself, him, Budge, Blue, all sort of within like 10 points of each other for most of the season, and just started whipping back and forth with results that like, especially because the tier was so close.
yeah.
But like after like he went on the wheel, he just fucking obliterated most of us for the rest of the season.
For definite. He's got a win in Monza, Russia, and Kota. That's him on the wheel, if I'm not mistaken.
I just remember, I think Singapore was the last race of that season, wasn't
Yes,
it?
that's right.
Yeah, I know because me and Adam had like a big lead early in the season for the constructors, and like if obviously as he started to pick up the points, I think there was someone else that joined late for Aston, and like they
Oh,
were
I think I know
actually
who you're talking
on
about.
just looking, it was fucking Mags. So just remember, I remember at Brazil, the two of them just drove away from everyone. I think I might have came third or fourth in that race, but like the two boys just obliterated us. They were in a different league. But like we went into Singapore, like me and Adam still had a small gap. I think it took out at one point by Shamrock. Adam, I think, put it in the wall, and then like he was like fourth or fifth, and we were like, "Oh shit, we're gonna lose this year." Like at the last hurdle, I can't remember what the gap was in the end, but like it was razor close.
Constructor by 2 points.
Like it was just one of those, like especially if you're not the fastest, like half the time you're either looking at constructors or the all constructors
Yeah.
to give you like a little bit of reflective glory. Like it's not to say it's not like a bad thing or anything. It's but like sometimes that's your fight you're fighting because the other lads are just genuinely quicker, and like there's like you find something that you can fight for, whether it's your own little milestones, like pick up a point every race or pick up a podium, a pole, a win if you're lucky enough over the season. Like all those little yokes, but like sometimes that's just the goal because there's other people that are quicker than you, and if you're in the battle, you're in the battle. Like that's always been my attitude. It's just if I can't win something individually, if I can win something as a team, I'm just as happy.
I got a question from the chat. It's come from Budge. Who's your favorite driver to race against? And also Budge said, obviously that Budge 84 fella.
Oh, like me and Budgie are in the same tier for I think about 8 or 9 seasons. Like
something like that.
Like if there is a thing, and the penalty points probably reflect it. Like we're two of the ones that like try to keep our noses clean and like we'll race someone hard, but we won't cut their throats for like nothing on it. Like, Budge is definitely one. Gary Drow would have been another. Like Gary Drow was always good crack to race with. Like Sutty's always a hard battle. Blue's the most difficult bastard on the planet to overtake, yes. And if he's behind you on fresh mediums, he's the latest breaker on the planet.
With his mediums, I still mind
the drainer. Like then there's like obviously people that are in the tier like Irish Gary. That would have been like a rocket ship at times, especially like in tier 3. I think he might still have the most wins in the tier history. I'm not 100% sure, but if he doesn't, he's not far off it. But like there's been like a fair amount of lads that like have gone through the tier that like are great crack to drive with. There's some that have gone through the tiers that not so much. Like we all had fucking great joy with, like say the likes of Faze or Jamie Henry, who are maniacs in their own rights.
exactly.
But like that's how, like there's a fair amount that you can actually enjoy racing with. Like Cav's another one.
Mm,
Like Flemo, there's so many of those lads that like especially now that would have hovered between 2, 3, and 4.
mhm.
That like you could race like wheel to wheel every time, and you knew you were safe. You could go through the S's or any other sequence side by
Mhm.
side and still
Yeah.
come out of it without losing fucking a few seconds or whatever because your wings on the floor and you're looking at the
It's,
fence going, please don't hit.
yeah. I still mind what you call that race in Singapore when me and you were near each other. I think that's my first race with manual gears, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
Jesus, that was when I did the hards, wasn't it? In
Yeah,
tier
that's like,
two. I just remember you closing in, and it's just like, I'm
uh,
all right.
it's like what you call it, try and memorize like the gears with the what you call it, because at the time I was on automatic before switch it to manual. It's kind of like blessing in disguise. That kind of way. It's like you never knew how important like the right gear to be on.
Honestly, like,
In my point of view.
I'm still using automatic gears, like, but
Mhm.
I'm using no traction, so like it's a weird one for me. Like
Mhm.
that's a tracks like Bahrain or Spain are like sort of nice for me because you're sort of constantly trying to hold the speed as opposed to
Yeah.
like something with a stop-start nature where it makes it a lot more difficult, especially in automatic gears, because you're more prone to drop down the force. And like
Mhm.
you can manually upshift, so if the revs aren't right,
Yeah.
the engine dies, and you drop back down the force, and you're just having the same problem all over
I,
again. You lose so much time.
I
Yeah,
think
like
I think the game wants you to like certain gears on certain corners. Like if I'm not mistaken, like if you there's a certain amount element to the game like wants you to short shift like when the let revs light went on if I'm not
yeah, I
mistaken.
get it. Yeah, look, and that's the thing. It's the same way. Like most people, well, if they aren't, they probably should be. Like even in the way with automatic
Mm,
gears, that you upshift early just to save yourself the wheel spin.
yep,
But like,
exactly.
there's lots of little tricks, even if you're not like fully using manual gears, that you can pull to
Mm,
try and help yourself. But like, it is always going to be quicker if you're able to like get to the point where you're competent. My fingers are just too bloody slow on the pad, so if I was using a wheel, I'd probably go to manual
yeah,
because
fair.
obviously you're flicking a button or a switch depending on what your setup is. Whereas, like for me with pad, I don't have that dexterity to
Mm,
do everything quickly. I'll spend more time thinking about that, and then
mhm.
I'm missing the corner or whatever. So I'll just do what's quickest for me.
Right. It's moving on to tier 3 season 7. No, where you finished P9 the second year in the second season in the Ferrari, and my good old mate in Derry won that tier in season 7.
Yeah, like in fairness, the writing was already on the wall with Mags the season before, like because he'd only had a few races, but like he was quickly like up there with Joe and
Mhm.
what I call the Fawns that season, and like you sort of had an inkling that if you could carry that form, like it was gonna be trouble for anyone, and you had
Mhm.
like a batch
That's.
of quick lads like Whelan was back, Cav
Mhm.
was getting faster, Gary was back in the tier and like missed the first few races.
Yeah.
Joe Mack was there, and like Joe Mack was the original sandbag man. Every time
Oh.
every time there was a new guy, Joe would be like slow until the first practice race of the season, and you suddenly be on. Where the fuck does this come from? I can't remember if it was that season or if it was like the next game on that like he'd not really set much in time trial that anyone could notice. And I think we did a practice race in China,
Yeah.
and he was on Owen's arse for the whole
Mhm.
race, and racing like I think it was Colin would have been close to the two boys as well, and you're just there going, oh holy shit, like this might be an absolute fucking disaster, but like in fairness, there was enough quick lads in that
Yeah, it
tier.
was. You got
Like,
you name a few of them in that tier at the time in
I
that
look,
season.
that's the thing. You like in the one that it's sort of like you look at it in the standings that season. Like I'm just bouncing back across myself to have a nosy.
Mhm.
Like Bunsey did half the races in that season.
That's
Like
mad.
and like he pretty much after like he looked like he was out of the championship. I don't think he raced really much.
Mm.
Like I think he missed like 3 or 4 rounds in the end, but it was enough to keep him in that tier for the following season. Just because it was sort of looked at the standings and everyone had almost forgot the pace the chap had
Mm.
when he like, came back for the following year. But that was an absolute mental tear that year. So if you
Yeah.
look at how many lads that have gone on to win either races in tier two, like Jesus, Mags is a tier one race winner at this
Yeah.
stage, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Like there's all that sort of thing. You got like a
He,
few that are tier one, tier two, or well, not tier one
he
champions, tier two champions.
he came close with what you call a season later in season 8. In
Yeah,
fairness.
like you even had the Mad Shamrock as well, like
Yeah.
down the arse in that tier. And FaZe was in tier three that season. I think he moved up the following year.
Yeah, that's right. He
But like that,
was.
it
He
was
moved.
sort of like you saw like the lads that were sort of the linchpins of tier three. Like
Mhm.
obviously Kachiga was there for fucking donkey's years. Budge, myself, like obviously Gary was there for a fair while. Cavs being up and down with 3 and 2 for
Mhm.
like a number of seasons. But it's always been sort of always constant like
It.
nice little benchmarks for lads. Like if they're getting giving them trouble or like walloping them, then
Mhm.
like they're ready for something above. Like the only reason my name's even in there is because I
Mhm.
just was consistently pulling points whenever it's there.
Yeah. For definite. So I called the season later. You took everyone uh, as a surprise for in season 8. You dropped from tier 3 down to tier 4, which is that's at the time I'm shocked with myself because you're always like tier 3 like since I've known you at the time.
Yeah, that was the first year I tried to do no traction.
Ah, fair.
Um, and like I was having a fucking nightmare with it. I think like most of the season, I think there wasn't a race where I didn't spin. I was just I could not get to the point where my style of driving
Hmm.
setup was working for me because like I'm sure you'd have seen it. You've been contacting enough races. I
Yeah, sure.
drive in like I blip the throttle a lot mid corner to try and give the car a little bit more momentum mid corner.
Mhm.
So like it's just to hook the thing sometimes, but I could not figure it out, and like I was trying everything from dead zones and stuff to
Yeah.
try and exactly like
Like
get around it, but I was having absolute fucking nightmares. I just remember like the first race of the season, like there was a safety car late in the race, and like Paddy was in the party. He's just like, just go into AOI, put it in medium, fuck it, like see how far you can get up. Like
jeez.
like it's just like it was just like it was as much a joke as anything because like I was coursing for half the race, and then like I think 2 laps from the end of it, I put it in the
Mhm.
fucking wall at the last corner.
Oh.
trying to get on the power of it. It was either the second last lap or like 3 laps to go. I was just like
Mhm.
I couldn't like stop fuming with myself about it. It's just like it was like I made Carl seem like light when like Carl has a rant.
Oh,
It's,
what do you call it? At least it didn't seem my rant as of yet. Oh god. Like,
it was like it was one of those. It was like for me especially it was really difficult season because
yeah, it is.
like my goal usually every season like it's a simple one. It's just to try and score points in every race or every race I finish at least. But I think that was the first season that I'd had like a rake load of DNFs.
Mm.
It's like I think it was like 3 or 4. It just like it's one of those that like especially look, no one wants to like put the time and effort in to do a bit of practice and then
Mhm.
like have their afternoon fucked by themselves. So like I was really frustrated that season.
Mm.
I couldn't figure it out. And it was pretty much the same for
It's,
most of the time on 21.
yeah,
That I was just like in the midst of struggling.
like
Um,
struggling, like try to get under traction through the
yeah,
corners.
it was just one of those. I couldn't I just couldn't find a way to like get on the power.
Mm.
Like nothing I tried seemed to be working. So I was like, fuck this. So like I was crawling, and if it was wet, I was destroyed every time.
Yep.
But like the last 2 games, for me, it's been a lot easier just because you can work your setup around it,
Mhm.
and like actually changing the diff has an impact.
It does.
So like it's just been something that I've been able to take advantage of that I'd
Mhm.
lost out in the previous games, and like I think that's sort of reflecting how my driving and results have gone
Uh,
since that. Like I'm able to sort of be somewhat respectable, not fast, but like at least not fucking awful.
I think at the time, if I'm not mistaken, with 22 game, it's the most difficult game with no traction, in my opinion. Like, because you have to be so cautious to get under traction. Like, you have to get under traction at the right spot if you want to get a good exit or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. Like the last 2 games, sort of. If you're getting the power was your if you're getting that sort of yaw
Mhm.
effect, so like when you're turning and getting on the power at the
Yep.
same time, the car is so much more skittish and it's much easier to slide. Now, in fairness as well, like with 22 and 23, it's a lot easier to catch the slide
Mhm.
than say 21 was, because 21 it was just like if you
Oh,
lost the rear end of the car, that was it. Like there
do you,
wasn't much saving it.
do
It
you
was just
think?
straight to this.
Oh god.
Sorry, I was just going to say it was straight to the scene of the accident.
Yeah. Was it like a ground effect cars, like what you call it, effect of the what you call it, effect
I
of
don't,
catching the cars?
I don't think so, because it's one of those that we the games. I think they just sort of went back to like I know obviously the physics and all is meant to be based on real life, but it felt like for me that they went back to an earlier like what felt like an earlier handling model
Mhm.
and tried to be a lot more flexible with how the power is delivered.
Mhm.
Because
Uh,
like it seems like the cars are a lot more messy when you're low gears and
mhm.
like sort of low range and having to accelerate hard.
It's yeah.
Whereas if you're sort of mid throttle range or in a higher gear, everything seems to be a lot more comfortable. Sometimes you won't have as much turning, or well, not turning, grip. Like you sort of have a lot more understeery balance, but it's a lot. It seems a lot simpler to get the car to do what you want with the last two games.
Brandon just said F1 22 pre-patch was such a good game in his opinion, even though it was totally broken. That was on the wheel, however, on pad, some of the best drivers struggled.
Yeah, look, I think everyone would agree. Like pre-patch 22 was savage, and then when they cleared the time trials and all that, and did the major handling patch, everyone came back and it was like it was a different game.
It is.
I think. Jesus, what did we have? We had like 3 or 4 races left that season. When
I remember that. It totally messed things up.
I think like there's some tiers that probably have a different championship result because of it. Like that, some lads just did not adjust. And like it also screwed up the setup side of things as well because it changed the meta like massively. So lads that had already built up a little bit of a baseline in the database, they're having to relearn the game.
Exactly.
And by then you were October, November. So like if you were working or something, you were fucked because you didn't have that didn't have that same amount of time in the summer to like get your arse in gear, especially like the lads were in college or whatever.
Exactly. So what do you call it? Season 9, first season on the 22 game, you came P7 in the championship with I think 1 podium in Abu Dhabi, I think it was.
Yeah.
So
sorry, which season?
Season 9.
Yeah, like that was with the Mordors. Like there was for me it was just sort of survive in advance, and if I could pick up the scraps of what was there, that was all I was going to do. Like there was people that were much quicker than me, and it was so it's frustrating, but like it's also look, if you're realistic, you're not going to win every race. So just get the best result you can. Try and win the inter-team battle if you can, and on to the next race and hope for a better day if it's been a bad one before it.
Yeah, it is. So what do you call it? That championship won by Shamrock, the infamous race in Brazil, which I like to not chat about it. So
yeah, there's enough conspiracy theories and everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, wasn't the first time a championship nearly was decided. Well, in fairness, that one was decided by dodgy internet and
it was.
A PlayStation Network failure. So.
Oh god. It's
I think Jamie Enroy's green box had a lot to do with it.
Something like that, yeah.
I'd say to this day, Shamrock bloody thanks his lucky stars for that PSN drop.
It was.
Without that, the rest wasn't possible. He was a lap down, I think, at the time.
He was, actually, and Gamer was in around P2, I think, race lead at the time, something like that, or P2.
Yeah, he was one of the two. He was in championship position, and then I think I wasn't. I know I got disconnected and disqualified on the restart.
I remember that.
And then I think it was Ryan Corden's internet absolutely shit the bed and had a desync with what was going on, and it was sort of reminiscent of what happened with Guardian Funny Guy in Tier 3.
I remember that.
Back in my debut season. But obviously we re-racked that race, and then All Rouge claimed its most famous victim.
Yep. The man fun awfully. It was. So anyway, never mind what you call infamous Brazil race, which I'd like to move on for now to Season 10, which is think that's your sixth season as a full-time driver, if I'm not mistaken. Seven seasons altogether, if I'm not mistaken, at the time.
Yeah, like that. In fairness, that was a real fun season. Cause like
Yeah.
you had you had the class of the field. So like I'm fairly sure that was the Dead Heat season, wasn't it? Like Budge and Drainer finished on level points, and Budge won it on
Yeah,
comeback.
that's right. That was a fun championship at the time.
Yeah, like it was one of those. It was just like it was like it was sort of constant back and forth. And the thing then at the end of the season, like Drainer pulled back. Was it something like a 20-point gap? Budge had on him.
Yeah, that's right.
It was just it was great crack to be watching, like especially obviously for any of us that were racing, we could rerush and actually enjoy what was going on. But it was such a close tier. Like you had the two boys, you Jam, who was like starting to get faster and faster at that point. Lucky and Lukey Dookie. Like and Lucky was, I think he might have genuinely been the fastest in the tier.
Yeah.
At that point, it just had horrid luck.
Mhm.
Like fucking Lukey was always one of those that go, and like the Bartford was starting to pop up, and actually that's another lad that's always good to race with. Like
Yeah.
that chap is like as far as like on track goes, like he is mint. Like there's been a few times where other people would throw a stupid dive or something, but like he's one of those people that's just crazily respectful on track to anyone that's around him, especially if you race him clean, like you're fucking golden.
He's most improved driver from even from F1 22 game onto this game, like altogether.
But that was
It's
the,
like
he was one of the original Tier 5 boys, wasn't
yeah,
he?
he was.
Like, and like, in fairness, the class of Tier 5 didn't work out too badly.
It wasn't. It
Like,
didn't.
I think you've got a few, like at this stage, you have a few Tier 1 winners that came out of that. Like,
Joko
that
would be
Mad
most
Batch,
memorable.
yeah. And like, all, jeez, what was the three letters at the end of Owen's name? Like, we're talking Pink Panther Owen, not
Yeah,
the old T1 champ.
yeah, I know who you mean. Ooh,
Yeah.
it's from the original Tier 5. I don't know what you're saying. Can't mind.
But like, if you look at all the names are in that tier in like season 10, like there's so many bloody race winners. Like you've obviously Drainer, Budgie, Jam, Lukey Dookie, Lucky, myself, Bertver, Carlos, Ronosaurus has won a few, Sanko's obviously won a few, Sutty's won a few, Mayo's won at least 2 or 3. He used to be the Asian sensation. I think Mickey Mouse did. JT definitely has. And like, can't remember if Kunagi ever won in 5. I don't think he did. And Wheelo, yeah, Jesus Christ, Wheelo, the Portuguese fucking marvel. It's like, but that like that's the thing. Like how many? Jesus, what is that? Like about 15 out of 20 drivers.
Yeah, something like that.
Like,
So,
like if you go to the podium side of it, I think it's 19 out of 20. I think Kunagi might be the only one out of that lot that never stood on the podium.
Ah, poor lad.
Or did he get one for
No, I don't
like
think
one
so.
of those fucking mental races? But like that's like it was a quality tier, like across the board. Like and like you had some lads that are like obviously here racing seasons, like fuck's sake.
Now you're on to that Portimao race in season 11. What do you call it? What would you remember from real perspective at the time?
I know from my perspective, I fucked up because I was one of the ones that pitted. It was actually, I think it was the first one that pitted for six. I'd forgotten about the
Yeah.
pit last time.
Mhm.
If I'm honest, like, and I'm not sure if that might have dragged Dan Mullen in or not. Like, it could be just purely he got the old Jeff message and went through that. Like, I never actually asked him, but like, I just, like, I'll be honest, I just remember for most of that race on the Inters, and like, I couldn't get the car working well,
Yeah.
and like, there was times I was like, I'm gonna have to let Wheeler pass because he's genuinely faster than me here. Like that's not the like egotistical or anything. It's just like, look, he's got a chance of getting like a fucking like savage podium here, like in
Yeah.
P2, and I think that would have been either like his first P2 or he might have got P2 previously, like in tier 4. But it was just like, you know when you're like going, alright, like my tires are overheating, I need to do something. But like, if I remembered the pit last time was like, fucking, what was it, like 28, 30 seconds,
Yeah.
I would have just said, fuck it, I'm like gonna stay up until these things burst.
Mhm.
But like, there wasn't enough laps to like get there. But it was worth it to be in that party alone, like, and like, I think it took me about 4 or 5 races to get past them in the fucking championship. It was just like, I was more
Something like that.
like, I was more like going, oh Jesus Christ, I'm gonna get walloped in the championship this season, because I think the next race I crashed. If I remember right, because I fucking hated Miami.
Oh, Miami. DNF through there. I think their shortened season it was 7. I think I remembered that. What do you call it?
Yeah, that was the shortened season because the game was a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
And like by that point as well, like we'd Jam, like I think he wasn't available for the night tier 3.
Mhm.
So because we'd like a lot missing on the grid, it was just, well, look, racing this tier, I think we had oh Jesus Christ, he's in tier 2 now. Like he debuted in Imola, and the two of them were going hammer and tongs for that race win. I can't remember his name. I'm fairly sure he's in the Naston in tier 2. And we were just like going, you need to get him out of here, Con. Jesus Christ. It's like, it's bad enough we're already racing for second.
Oh, gee.
That's why.
If it was that bad enough, it like, oh god.
Yeah, I think it was actually that's who it was. It was Carbon. Like he showed up for Imola as a reserve, and we were just like, going, "What the fuck have you put in here, lads? Come on, like Jesus Christ, we're all working our balls off. Like we know there's only 12 of us, but like, just give it some chance. We don't. Like, it's already bad enough racing for P2. We don't want to be racing for third or fourth."
I remember Carbonite is like what you call it. I knew he's literally tier 3 pace at the time. It's like, Christ, he's one of the quick, very, very quick lads. Them.
Yeah, well, that like it was one of those. It was sort of telling because that's the only 2 races that Jam lost that he raced in that season. Like that was what it was like. We were just going, Jesus Christ. I think little did we all know that like after the second race of the season we weren't gonna have a fucking chance of winning another one.
It could take a while. In fairness, like.
Oh man, like, in fairness, though, I still feel so sorry for Dan Mullen for that Portugal race.
Oh.
Like it was crazy, but that's it. Like I think we've all had one of those moments where the strategy or whatever the hell's possibly taken in office.
Yeah, what do you call it? Oh, don't bring up Austria later on down the line.
I've had my own melodies in Austria with a safety car, not wanting to cut the pit lane, so I can feel your pain there.
Or select the right tires for me, Jagers.
Yeah, done that too in Brazil only last week, so yeah.
Anyway, Go on.
I've had that gamble go the right way for me in China last season, and I've had it go wrong for me. Probably at the
Oh,
worst time for my championship, but like,
I fully remember it. It's like what you call it. Me and Carl was in a party with you, and it's like me and me and Carl said to you like box for inters, and what you
yeah,
call it. You just minding your own business, and Carl is going, John, John will be like, yeah, I know.
yeah. Man, it's like it was one of those. Like, you remember the conversation as well. It's like, I'm just gonna stay in for the first lap under safety car and check if it's alright in the braking zones.
Yeah.
If it's okay in the braking zones, we're fucking golden. Because I can lose about 10 seconds and I'm not gonna have to worry about this shit. And then like literally safety car in this lap,
Yeah.
get to the last corner and it's like it's raining heavier. It's now winter weather. Bollocks. You're just like going, oh, and like it was one of those. I should have just like pitted the left and safety car was going in, but like it's like going, look, Jeff's saying to me that it's gonna stop raining in 5 minutes. If I can keep this within 15 seconds, I'm all right. I can lose 5 seconds left, fucking, and then you're just there going, no, it's getting heavier again. You're a fucking moron. I think, I think it's the only time I've ever been lapped in my full time here, like when I was racing. No, actually, I tell like Monaco.
Monaco.
The Monaco disasters where like Decky Ferg fucking just drove away from the field one season.
Oh, yeah. In tier 3 was it, or?
It was. I think. Yeah, I think it was tier 3. I think it was the year Fonzie won it. He absolutely tore his son that he did in the race. It was fucking crazy. I think it was him and Lukey might have been just driving away from the field.
That's right. Anyway, moving on to season 12. Think you came P4 in the championship. You got a good few podiums in there, and that season dominated by the Barta 4.
Yeah, that was like. I was on holidays, I think, for 2 weeks of that.
Yeah, that's right.
That was like, in fairness, that was like, it was. I know we had a small grid, but it was a fun one to race in. Because like, Bartfire usually was like, generally thereabouts on the race pace is probably the quickest overall. Like Bear, was back on the wheel and like was. Like early on, he was a little slower than Bartford, but like come the middle of the season, like he fucking hit his stride and was like it was sort of just nip and tuck between the two of them for most of the season. Like and then Sutty was always up there. Like I think like at different points, all four of us were like started interchange with leads or poles. Like I think that season I had more poles than I've had fucking at any point in this league. I think I scored more poles than that than the rest of my LOI career like combined. But nah, like it was a like good fun season. I don't think I actually even won. I don't think I won a race that year. I think it was like, constantly like second or third sort of thing.
To be quite frankly, looking back at the stats, I'm shocked you didn't got a race win in what you call season 12 because you were so consistent in terms of race pace or something like that.
I was sort of having the same problems I'd had before, like a few seasons before, where I was constantly either like dropping the car or like having a half on. Like I think the amount of times that I ended up gaining back position through safety cars. Like I think it was Spain, like that. Me and Bear, were fucking hammer and tongs. Like it was like one of the most fun battles I had that season. Like because we just like were wheel to wheel for Mouse. I think he ended up losing the position, the penalties. Like I remember, he something under the safety car. I think he
Yeah,
overtook a car. I don't know
I
if
think.
he got the message on screen or what the fuck. It was just one of those. I think it was that. It might have been Dan Mullen, but yeah, like there was races like that where it was great crack, and then there was other races where I think me and Sodi would have been interchanging positions regularly and just sort of letting seeing the two boys drive off into the distance until the inevitable safety car came. But like it was good, like good year. You had like what was it? Aaron Sully as well was in the
Yeah,
tier, and like he was always mega fast, but just whatever reason it never quite worked out in the races for him. Like I always think like he would have been up further in the championship than he ended up.
he he would have been around battling with yourself, Suti, Bear, and Bartafor at the time. Like,
Uh, that was the season where didn't we have to? Didn't we cut it a race short because we never raced Qatar in the end?
yeah, that's right.
I can't
Because
remember what it was that
I think it was the PS servers was down at the time. I think it was, or
it was, yeah. And then because the championship had been decided, like was it Brazil?
decide it was
And it was
decided.
decided in. We just said, fuck this when we all voted because there was only like 11 of us really that were showing up every week.
Yeah, that's right. Then what do you call it? Moving to season 13, you're back where you belong, back in tier 3 once again.
Yeah, I'll be
13.
honest, like last season was probably the best season I'd actually had as
Mm.
like a driver myself. Um, I know it didn't start off great, but after that, it like sort of just got very consistent. Found
Hmm.
a sort of base setup that worked for me in most places and got me head down.
Hmm.
We obviously there was I think actually that Austria win. Like I know it was. I think it was Sutty got penalised and I picked up. I can't remember who it was that won it on track because I know it wasn't me. I know it was second or third. And someone had time penalty in game and then so I think it was Sutty that won it on track and had a penalty for
Yeah,
something
that's
else.
right.
But that was the first win I had that wasn't in Bahrain.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'm thinking.
because that's what I used to like piss myself laughing because it was like everything that I like would do always seemed to be that one track because like fucking even the tier 4 win I had was there
Hmm.
when I got lucky with his time penalty like he had 3 seconds got me
Mm.
like on the second last lap and I
Yeah,
just about clawed on to stay within his penalty range.
yeah, that,
But no, like that was one of those seasons. It was like it was fun because again,
hmm
like it was racing around lads that I'd raced for seasons with, and like
yeah,
lads that you could you could trust the race wheel to wheel with.
like
Like
experienced lads around
yeah,
you.
that's the thing. It's just like look, it was lads that knew how to race and didn't want to wreck someone's day to like
Mm.
put a fucking low IQ move on. And like stuff like that to me has always been important
Yep.
because like I think everyone can race hard. I don't think
Hmm.
anyone has to be a dickhead, and I think we've always tried to like even from the real side and student side, like
Uh,
we've always tried to allow people to race without crossing the line.
hmm.
And like in fairness, most of the boys in the tier were always respectful of each other.
Yeah.
Like you still have the odd maniac moment. Everyone has it. Like that they
Um.
miss a breaking point or whatever the fuck. Like and end up like ramming through someone or just playing wreck in their own day.
Did,
But Like like last season was like a really good tier competition was until Lucky Nushak got
Good man, lucky.
his form, and then Jesus, what was it, 4 the last 5 or something like that?
Yeah, he think 5 out of 6.
Yeah, like and that told you everything you needed to know. Like it just once he got going, we were all battling for second place really.
Yeah, so like everyone. I think 3 of his, I think it was on 121 points at the time.
Yeah,
which is mad.
That's like that's like the crazy. Like I think DK got third place and count back because I don't think Bertford won a race that season.
That's right.
But like it was just one of those that like it was that close across the board. Like if you took Lucky out of that championship, like like I would say you would have probably had about 7 people going into the last round with a chance to like a championship. You know that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that. That's how mad it is. It's like, well, again, like fucking that. It's one of those like you can only try and get best result for you. It's like especially if you have that because we've seen it across the tiers over the seasons. There's always someone that like just has an absolute anomaly compared to what's expected. Like there's sometimes where they can obviously a lot of like a bit inside baseball. Like, there's a lot of effort that's put in and balancing the tiers at the start of the season to make sure that we have lads that are in the right way, and like it's not just one person's opinion. There's like a group that are down through previous results because like obviously there's some things that like net results won't show.
Yep.
And that like in like obviously as the league's age and as we've all been involved in this longer, like we've had that chance to sort of go, well, look, we fucked up on this, we missed this.
Yeah.
Like what can we do to improve this, that, or other?
Yeah.
Exactly, and
that's right.
I think as like the last few seasons have gone, like I think we've done relatively like well with balancing the tiers to try and keep the competition going. Like and that's all we can do. Like obviously tier 1 it's unavoidable no matter what. You're gonna always have hopefully the cream of the crop in tier 1, but like tier 2, like the way this season's panned out, and like obviously Banter's had a hell of a year.
Yeah.
Like you can see those lads that have been constantly like close to each other over the seasons in multiple tiers, and it's just been that he's been a class above in some respects. Some sectors like the way he went away in the last race is like bonkers. I don't think I've seen that in a long time.
To be fair, I've never seen Banter being so consistent this season. To be quite frankly, he's always qualified well, and the races like up till this season is kind of like he's on top form at the moment. Like
it's just it's like something's clicked. And
it definitely is.
You saw the same thing with say like Brendan last season in tier 1. Like there was like signs of his pace at different times in the previous season, and then like whatever it was, whether it was a setup or just a change in driving, so like he just found what worked for him, and off he went. And like some of his performances were up there with like Andy's, Tommy's, like insert name here, like across the lads, you know what I mean? And that's what's mad. Right? Like it's always enjoyable as well to see like lads just find that peak or find more. Like the same you could say about like someone like Green who's literally gone through the tiers as well.
Yeah.
And like it just constantly seems to be finding something. And like, there's the nice element to see like the OGs like Saucy or Dills or Dan OM and like don't want to miss any names, but
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like those lads,
yeah,
it's like yourselves and Colin that have been around for seasons in the tier, and like still like people are fighting across the board, and like they're still finding things, still improving, and like that's always it's like a fucking enjoyable aspect to me. Is just
mm,
seeing people develop in the league as well, because like if you're seeing people like move up and jump up with their level over the seasons, like it's also like rewarding for the league that
yeah,
we're actually seeing someone that's putting the time and effort in and showing up every week, that
mm,
they're getting something back from it, in that sense that like if it's about competition for them, that they're getting the test their metal against those jokes.
mm,
Obviously, like I think what is it, owning PSGL tier 2 now.
yep,
So like that's like one rung down the ladder from the best of the best. That like
exactly.
that's fucking crazy to think. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Like Owen is kind of like what I think his first season in Tier 1, he was a midfield driver. Now also he's like PSGL Tier 2, and he could be potentially face the best drivers out of the PlayStation side, which is mad to think about.
yeah, but that's the thing. It's just like it's incredible to see, and it's also awesome to see, because like there is something about that, and like it's one of the things with the league. Like regardless any fucking like falling outs over a game being broken or whatever over the
Mm,
time, like I don't think anyone within the league would begrudge anyone having that kind of success, or like going off and doing something like that.
yeah.
Because like I think that was like talking to Paddy back in the day. Like I think that was one of the goals. Was like that sort of a cart of holy fuck. Could you imagine if someone from here managed to get to like F1 esports or
Yeah.
anything else? And like I know some of the boys are like experimenting with racing and stuff like that, and that like
Mm,
that's fucking cool to see. Cause you would love to see someone that's came through the league or being involved in the league, it's like find that way onto
yeah.
like a
Definitely.
international platform,
Yeah.
and that
It's like what you call it, the cream of a creme, like at the top.
yeah.
This in worldwide. In fairness, like could be anyone's imagination, and yeah, what you call it, it's like do not believe he made that progress, like further on up to like the tiers in PSG outside, and what you call it, F2, which is only one tier below F, their top tier, which is still mad to think about.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's just like it just shows like obviously as well like the amount of effort he's put in as well.
Mm,
But hopefully there's reward for it, and like there might be others that are capable of that as well down the line.
yep. So what you call it, moving on to this season for yourself, championship leader going to the last 3 rounds plus a mystery round. You got your third race win as a full-time driver in a row, if I'm not mistaken, in Bahrain.
Uh, it's definitely me hat trick in Bahrain, but like I don't think it's third in a
No,
row.
two back to back, was it?
No, don't think so. Because no, it couldn't be. It was two out of the last three. Because
Two out of the last three.
Brazil was like ninth.
Alright. So, what do you call it? I mean, in Bahrain, in one Pacific track.
Yeah, look, like I said the other night, like it's been a place that's been kind to me over the seasons
Yeah,
and
exactly.
the
Fan-
league. Like,
so coming into the last three rounds, how, how you feeling right now? Now you're
oh,
championship leader.
to be honest, like I'm out of position for me, and like that, like there's not like in last night even like there's no doubt about it to me.
Mhm.
Like I'm the third or the fourth fastest driver on outright pace there. Like Nova and Pat are both faster than me, so for me it's sort of just right try and pick up the pieces if they make an error, or if I'm lucky enough that I might have the pace to give them something to think about
Mhm.
to try and do so. But like my best hope is just races where either it becomes a strategy game or
Mm.
there's a well-timed safety car to take advantage of. Like it's not gonna be a situation where I think on outright pace that I'm gonna do anything.
Mm.
Like obviously, I know Ryan Curran's injured at the moment, so if he comes back, I'm probably the fourth or fifth fastest. It just depends on the pace of the likes of Derek Hay, Sutty,
Mhm.
Will if he gets back on the wheel, and so and Evan has been fucking lightning over the last couple of rounds, although he had a difficult round in
Mhm.
Buran. Like so, it's not for me. I'm just sort of enjoying the heighty heights, and like
Mm.
I'll see how it goes. Realistically, I think it's probably between the two boys
Mm.
because like if it wasn't for the safety car, like it would have been close between me and Nova in the end because
Yeah.
the sauce would have been getting to their like born point, but
Mhm.
like that fucking fastest lap he even set in the race last night, like that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was quicker. It was quicker than half the grid's fucking qualifying laps, I think.
Or even I find that is near around tier one if it, any of tier
Uh,
one
it,
lads on the softs or
I
something
think
like that.
I think it was a similar lap to what Dav said, but like obviously
Mm.
he's only returning himself as well, and I don't know how much he's been run. But yeah, like look, it was a hell of a fucking lap for
Yeah.
something that was mid race. Well, yeah, mid race because it was what about lap 19, lap 20. So like there's all that sort of thing that comes into it. Like I've maintained the same sort of thing. I know I'm not the fastest in the tier.
Mhm.
I know I don't qualify the same way as the lads. I think last night might have been my best qualifying performance
Yeah.
for most of the season. Like, although I think it might have been fourth in
No.
Brazil as well. But no, it's just try and pick up as many points as I can and see how the table ends at the end of it.
Yeah, definitely. And you got P4 in tier two when you're reserving on the same
Yeah, but
track.
again, that was like same sort of deal. It was just a strategy call and getting lucky with the time of a safety car.
Mhm.
Because like, if it was a situation where I'd done the usual sort of strategy there, I would have been having to pit with the rest, and I would have been
Yeah.
like 9th, 10th, 11th, which is like for me, it's like super respectable in that tier as well. Like
Mhm.
that's like obviously who's in there now, like it's the lads that would have been constantly beating me when they were in tier 3 or tier 4. So
Mhm.
like as far as I'd be concerned, I'd be sort of just trying to pick up scraps and that like that's
Mhm.
more a misnomer than anything that's not just a genuine pace. Like it, but
Mhm.
sometimes the luck works out funny for you, and other times it doesn't. But that was one of the good times, and
Yeah.
uh, like respectable at least because it's still
Mhm.
coming back to the two boys like at the end of it, which is nice with having the more worn tires. But
Mhm.
I don't know if that way, like all the boys were coming, well, like are starting on, they're all starting that small stint on worn softs. I
Yeah.
would have assumed most of them would have been, which would have put our tires around the same, like
Mhm.
9-10%.
That's right. So what do you call it? That is it for league racing. So we're moving on to real life F1, as we got a question from Brendan who posted earlier. So he would like to know what your dream F1 team and who would be the driver pairing and the team principal.
Right, are we going with current, or are we going basically whatever the hell we want?
Whatever the hell he wants, I'm presuming.
Look, if it was whatever the hell we want, it's the simplest one. Like, team bosses, Jean Todt, drivers, Senna and Schumacher, and then design teams, Adrian Newey is chief designer, Rory Braun is chief aero, and then Ross Brawn is technical director. Like, if someone managed to have the team, I think that would be the closest anyone will ever get to actually doing the full fucking clean sweep. Unless the car there and then assuming crash into each other, which was also an extreme possibility given how like, they seem to find themselves regularly in each other's crosshairs in 92 and 93.
Yeah. So what do you call it? You're massive motorsport enthusiast. So what do you call it? When you first become an F1 fan, it's like.
To be honest, it goes back probably to playing the Mega Drive, and like I just like back in those days, you used to rent a game for the weekend or a few days from the video shop, or like in their case, we had a computer shop up in the village, so we'd all just go in there, pay our 50p for a few nights rental, and take a game home and like, try and complete it over the weekend, because there was no memory cards, there was no internal memory. Everything was just sort of, right, well, you turned it off so you can start again. But like that was like the first racing game I can ever remember playing was Senna Monaco Grand Prix, and the graphics and all are terrible, and you'll find video of it on YouTube and shit like that. Not me playing, obviously, but one of the cool things with it was you started in a shit team and you challenged drivers that were further up the grid. If you bet them in 2 races, you took their car.
Oh.
So like you were just trying to constantly climb up the ladder that way, and like obviously a few years later you had like the PlayStation come out, and that was the game changer, because like that like the original Formula 1 game with Genesis was just, it was a different world. Like the graphics look awful today, and like the engine noises and all are fucking terrible. But compared to what like had gone before, it was just an absolute world beater. And then like 2 years later, you had like the Jeff Crammond fucking move the goalposts again, like with Grand Prix 3 on like PC, and like. There was a small update for that, which ended up in Grand Prix 4, but like that game still gets modded to this day, and like there's a whole community that does it. If you ever like get bored, go and have a look for the comparison of whatever this season's F1 game is with whatever like private developers have done to Grand Prix 4's code to run the games, and like. It's fucking incredible for something that's like over 20 years old as an engine, like,
and still going.
It like, and it still looks brilliant. It still plays well as well. Like, and that is like, there's so much shit that people have created for it. Like they've created like track packs and fucking cars going back to the 70s, or like full season packs with like tracks that never existed in that game, because like all the like mapping tools and stuff like that all were put up online for free by different people that had like got access to tools or worked out what filed extensions were needed and all that sort of shit. So like you could like at one point I used I think it's still like on your Facebook somewhere. I used to like try and draw the wireframe cars
Yeah.
for it to just put into the game because like like if you're bored and you like especially in my case like I at one point dropped out of college so needed something to do other than like drink, eat pizza, and go to work.
Yeah.
And like it was just doing that to keep me mind busy. Was to try to work out what the fuck to do and go back to school the following year. But like it's one of those that like
Yeah.
that game like it's incredible how it's aged
Nice.
despite like being designed for like Windows XP or whatever the fuck it was at the time.
Nice, still going. I still mind extra fishing at the time is like you pick up rent games like there or something like
Yeah,
that.
like what I find hilarious and like obviously like where it's a day or two after the whole trailer and announcements for like
Mm.
the next F1 game,
Yep.
they still haven't worked out a career mode that's as good as
I
F1 Career Challenge that like they did, EA Sports did in like 2001. Like, or was it
I
2001 or
have
2003 or something like that? But like that game had a better career model than like any recent F1 games.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I watched that trailer earlier. It's like that's look uninspired if I see one because like it kind of like you got a sense of repetitiveness like you don't literally want or something like that.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like you're sort of like, and they sort of put themselves in that. Like everything is sort of repetitive in it. Like
Yeah.
there's not really any drastic changes with even that build a team mode or whatever the fuck it's called. Like that
Yeah.
you're going,
Mm,
oh yeah, like this is so different. Or like you're still stuck to the same tracks. There's not any
mhm.
like wildcards or alterations really. Like look, it's a bit the same with the F1 Manager game that like it's very
Yeah, it
limited in the
does.
changes it implements. Whereas like earlier, less complicated versions of those games, like sort of, like there's like there was two F1 managers that were made by Microprose back in the
Mhm.
mid 90s. Like the graphics and all are like naff. It's like watching like virtual racing on a bookies fucking site. The way that the game was set for when you're in races, but
Mhm.
the actual development aspects and the technical aspects and all are miles ahead of anything that's there. Like the same way that there was a game. It was based originally on like 1998 called Grand Prix World.
Mhm.
Getting like Micropowers, I think is the developer on it as well. But like as simple as that game was, it got into such mad like little nitty gritty details.
Mhm.
Like for techno regs, like fucking pay drivers and like having to pay engine manufacturers and
Yeah,
development of
that's
the
right.
engine and all that shit. It was it's a great play, like especially because the way that it was built, you would play for like
Mhm.
you would have 10 seasons that you could play,
Yep.
but like there was constant reg changes, there was driver changes, retirements, like and all these
Nice.
little aspects to try and keep your
Nice
team
so
alive.
forth. Yeah, that's right.
Like then EA did like F1 Manager just like in 2001. It was based on like
Mhm.
1999, and that had its own. It was a lot more simple. Like, geez, within a season you could make minority race winners if you had figured out how to
Mhm.
do things right. And like it was always stupid because you could hire fucking Adrian Newey to minority and shit like that. Like within the start of the game, or
Def-
like Mike Gascoigne from Jordan and shit like that. But like all those sort of things are like a lot more. detailed, and a lot more leveled with the like the potential storylines, potential
Yeah,
things
so
to
like
change than anything that's been put in like one of the modern games, and that like that's disappointing because it just shows that either the developers don't understand what they're doing, or it's just well, like
there's
as long as
all
it has the
of
license, we'll make money out of it.
it's kind of like that. In fairness, like Formula One management or something like that, like took control or something like that, or I don't know.
Do you know the annoying thing? There was a Savage Motorsport management game. I think it was actually by Motorsport Games.
Something like that.
Like it's about 10 years old at this stage, but it had everything like dropping down from sports cars to
hmm
IndyCar to Formula One to like, F2 and
Like
GP2 as it was then. And like
everything.
like it was really cool that it had all those sort of things, and you could have that layered effect of development drivers and shit like that. And again, like it was another game that like the online community was embraced with it and were allowed to develop stuff for it. So you had people creating season packs and
Yeah, that's right.
updating driver databases for new drivers coming through. And all of that was like actually housed by their servers as well, which was
hmm
cool because it meant that you could just pull the files directly without having to go and try and
With
find
with
some fucking archaic website.
with a problem or something like that.
Exactly, yeah. But like it's one of those that's like severely underrated
Mm,
compared to like the shite that we got with F1 Manager and F1 Manager 2,
and so forth.
or yeah, like or what 22 or 23, whatever the hell the last one was. Like both of them were garbage. It was like there's so much concentration on like just having the sound bites that like, it's not
It's
that much fun.
it's definitely not. So what you call moving after what you call real life F1. We're in Miami for I think next week, if I'm not mistaken. It yeah, Miami next week, and nearly all the teams has blue liveries going to Miami one. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, it's gonna get it's started getting silly, like the carbon fiber, the exposed carbon fiber for the opening test session, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
It's just like, ooh, who's got like deeper shade of blue? All right, lads. Okay. Oh, it just someone hasn't really thought this through.
No,
But
I think
like if
I'm going to feel sorry with the commentators going to be attending to Miami. In fairness, like they're going to be
look,
confused
it
with each card they're going to be in.
doesn't take a lot to confuse Crofty anyway. He doesn't. He like that poor man doesn't know if he's incensed by Abu Dhabi 21 still, or if he's legally to accept it.
uh, and
It's,
also with the news, as you just mentioned, Adrian Newey will be leaving Red Bull. I think with at the end of his contract or something like that. If I'm
I'm not
not,
sure because like there seems to be a fair amount of differentiation in the reporting.
yeah,
Like there's some that are talking about it as if it's already done deal. He's handing his notice or whatever the fuck, and
hmm
it's off the pastures new. There's other elements that seem to be saying, well, he's unsettled, wants to potentially leave,
he,
but it hadn't like a decision hasn't been made. So like
hmm
all that's really came out of Red Bull at this stage is that he has a contract at the end of 2025,
yeah,
and
I what do you call it? He said that what do you call it? There was a power struggle at Red Bull at the moment.
yeah, look, there's part of that that like is just the whole the amount of shit's not being
Mhm.
there anymore. That like the corporate end of the like company wants to have more say in how the teams ran, but like that was the whole point of segregating it in the first place. Because like as Jaguar showed everyone, you can't run an F1 team by committee. It doesn't work. Like
No.
it never has, never will. Like you basically need to have a strong character in charge, and
Mhm.
the rest like will obviously come with it. If the money's there, but like the interesting thing will be like what Newey's 65 now, I think. It's like if Red Bull say right, well, you to sit out to the end of your contract,
Mhm.
that means no matter where he's going, he's not going to be able to have influence on the 26 car until the car is already made, and no matter how good the designer is,
Mhm.
they won't have much of an opportunity to do anything in this era. It's not like the 90s or early 2000s where you could just throw fucking money at it and develop a B car
Yeah, exactly.
quickly. But you get the feeling if he does bite the bullet and says fuck it, I'm going,
Mhm.
like that, there'd be either a bit of cash to grease the wheels and get him to move, like say the end of this year,
Mhm.
which means he has a chance to influence whatever team's 26 car, or Red Bull will dig their heels in and try and convince him to stay the same way McLaren did when Bobby Rahal thought he'd signed him for Jaguar back in the day.
Yeah. Would
Like
you
and
fit?
that
Oh god.
sorry, that like that's the like crux of it. I would hazard a guess, if he's going anywhere, it probably is Ferrari,
Mhm.
but I think it's the worst move for him
In in what way?
because Newey all his career has been a bloke that does not like politics. He
Mhm.
wants to be just left alone to do what he does best.
Fair.
Build a team and build a car around the concept.
Mhm.
He like with Ferrari and like even with Aston, given that's the other like major team that's being like all whispered about.
Mhm.
Both of them have horrible political power struggles regularly.
Oh.
So like, if the excuse is that he wants to get away from the drama at Red Bull as it is at the moment,
Mhm.
like a place that he's stayed longer than anywhere in his whole career, a place that he's won more races with at this point than anywhere with his whole career, and he's got another like obviously set of
Big.
regs, which is usually the thing that Newey loves the most. Like
Yeah,
that
definitely.
when the real book changes, finding the holes and with whatever team he may have assembled. And that's always the important thing to remember though. Like
Mhm.
Newey at this stage in his career, he's not the man that's doing everything anymore.
No.
Like he's usually concentrating on specific areas. In recent years with Red Bull,
Mhm.
it's been the floor and the suspension because that's what his thesis was based on, was ground effect F1. Like
Yeah.
before he went and made his early footsteps in motorsport. Like, but it is an interesting one to see.
Mhm.
Like no matter what anyone thinks, like it is a seismic shift. But
Mhm.
there is also like the element that Newey going to work for someone
Mhm.
involves a lot of change for those things because he's still a man that uses a drawing board. He's not a
Yeah.
bloke that's like using new methods. Someone
It,
has to translate that information,
it can,
and that's not an easy task by any means.
no, definitely not. What do you call it? The man is still using a drawing board, like with everyone else using technology, which is, to be fair, rather use drawing board in fairness.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's the thing with him. It like he is always gone about things his own way and
mm,
trying to. But there, like when someone calls the existing Red Bulls just a work of newies, it sort of oversimplifies things because like there is a large team at play, and Newey himself goes to great lengths to actually emphasise that, and that's not a I don't want the kudos, like let the other guys have it. It's the way he's always been with these things.
Yeah.
And it's the structure that's allowed him to take breaks when he's needed to at Red Bull.
Yeah, definitely.
And the big thing for me, and if he does goes away from Red Bull, I think personally speaking, he'll basically be heavily involved in whatever 26 car if he can get released early.
Okay.
If he can't get released early, I don't think he moves. I think he'll stay put or retire and just go and enjoy himself. Because he was on the Coulthard and Eddie Jordan podcast. Like he's been on it twice. He did an interview. I think for them where he was talking to, I think it might have been Jody Scheckter. But like you can hear from him where he has some regrets and where he has enthusiasm. And I do think that with his like love for motorsport in general and like the history of the sport and all, I wouldn't be shocked if there is more of an attraction to Aston if they say, look, sort out the 26 car with Honda and then go and design us a hypercar for Le Mans. Because I think that area is something that he wants to explore. Like we've seen it in the past with him as well, where he felt that either the engine rules were too restrictive on the cars, and he went off consulting and did his America's Cup stuff while at Red Bull, and pretty much was just only getting involved with the F1 team to troubleshoot, when they were in the Renault era, because no matter what he did aerodynamically with that car or anything else, there was a deficit that wasn't possible to overcome. And those sort of things get sort of lost over the years. That he is a bloke that likes his luxuries. He lives in South Africa for a few months a year, and there's not at his age, I don't think he bar the history aspect of it, I don't think he wants to go into something that's going to have him stressing and having to be on site every day of the week, overlooking everything, because I don't think it's what he wants at this stage of life. It's just you even see how much he's been doing over recent years with the historic cars. That's ramped up in the last 10 years.
It does. So do you think if there's if he stay until the end of the contract, as you said, will he retire?
I think there's an extreme possibility if he can't get out early to have a major influence on the 2026 car, that he might just call it a wrap and go do something with a sports car build. It's just that's my inkling. I could be a million miles off, but it's just with F1, there's not really much more he can achieve. Working for Ferrari would be nice to tick the box and say something, but he's also the kind of bloke that, as far as Ferrari goes, the romanticism would have been to work for Enzo, not necessarily to go and work in that corporate environment, because we've seen how many times. Look, Fred Vasseur is an incredible team manager. Everything he's done, he's left teams generally better off than found. And ART, are one of the greatest junior teams the world's ever seen. But even he may like fall foul to the shite that is Ferrari.
Yeah.
Because it only takes one bad car with Ferrari for someone to be in deep shit.
For
Like
def.
we're into like since what 2015, 2016. We're into our like
Yeah.
fifth or 16th principal there.
Yes, with Fred Fisher now
And
at
like
the helm.
no, like in fairness to Fred, like he's pulled off the fucking queue of the century. Like in managing to get Hamilton there. I
Yeah.
don't I don't think it's the same Lewis post 21 personally. Now that could be unlocked with the car being more suited somewhere or not, but like I don't look at Lewis in the driving sense at
Mhm.
like the age he's gonna be in the same way that like I look at Alonso. I think Lewis is going more towards that Raikkonen like territory where
Yeah.
like he'll have some good days, but he's not as capable as he once was. But it's also like a thing with Hamilton. It's a motivation thing as well sometimes
Yeah.
because you see the difference if he has a sniff of any sort of decent result. That suddenly there's pace
I
that's
think.
not been apparent for months.
Think for no, Lewis did say that that every driver wants to drive for Ferrari, if I'm not mistaken, on his saying.
Yeah, he definitely said something along that lines. Like even like a couple of years ago, he was saying the same thing that like there is an attraction, but like at
Yeah.
the time that he thought he was going to be a Merc driver through the rest
Mhm.
of his career. But like Hamilton's also changed his mind about things when it came to driving as well. Like he's like in his like even in his
Mm.
most successful ones with Merc, like he was a bloke saying, "I can't ever see me racing like near 40."
Yeah,
Like in his head, even 5 years ago, he would have been retired by now.
it would be.
Now, whether that was lip service in public and he was thinking something completely different, like we'll obviously never know unless he says otherwise.
Mm.
But it is an interesting one, like that. He's probably gonna put himself in a position where he's racing arguably the best
Mhm.
qualifier on the grid,
Yep.
and like I know people give shit to Charles about the lack of converting poles to wins, but
Mhm.
a lot of those poles are coming in a car that probably isn't the fastest car on the grid anyway.
Yeah.
So like he's already outperformed it to get it to that point.
Yeah. On one lap place, no pace altogether, but not on the race like consistently. That's thing. Like.
Yeah. Like I genuinely do think that Hamilton might have been almost better served to have a gap year and
Mhm.
come back fresh for the new regulations
That's true.
to see if it made any sort of difference. Because even like if Newey takes garden leave at this point, I don't see Red Bull being too far off being able to provide a car that's like a winner again next season. Like
So.
I don't think that I don't think there's the jump that anyone can make to really like put that them in the back foot and having
Mhm.
to take massive risks. I think they could evolve what they have and find like enough that they'd either be competitive or still winning.
Mhm.
Like I personally think if Max is gonna move, it's gonna be for 26. I can't see him moving for 25.
If Max were able to move in 26, what car he would be in?
I don't know. That's I'll be quite honest. I think a lot will depend on whose dyno figures are looking impressive, and
Mhm.
like we're only gonna find out about that as those power units get developed because that electrical element and all the talk about how it's going to impact the cars is mighty interesting. Like, I'm not joking when I say this. I wouldn't be shocked if you ended up seeing Max in an Aston.
I'm not be
Um,
surprised with it, in fairness, with the Aston move.
well, like there's two elements to it. Like obviously the money end of it is one thing, but I think, especially for Honda after what happened
Mhm.
with 2021 and beyond, like them pulling out in 2020 and just leasing the engine rights in, providing the technicians. So, like, there's a few HRC stickers on it, but it's not a Honda powered car that won the championship in 2021
Mhm.
or 22 or 23. Like, I think that hurts them a lot. That the knee jerk reaction to leave, like,
It does.
cost them what they'd been working for the last, what, like 6 7 years up to that point, and
Mhm.
like latterly the embarrassment of what happened with Braun after they fucked off in 2008. Like, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like that's like, especially for a company like Honda who's like won everything they've ever gone into, really.
Mhm.
Like, those two missteps have to hurt them.
It does.
Because you even see it like in MotoGP
Yeah.
with like obviously the last few years they've gone completely off the boil as Marquez
Mhm.
has been injured and stuff like that, and it's got to the point where he's obviously left out of like the lack of competitiveness. But it, they're always one of those companies that you expect to find a way back to what
Mhm.
they need to be.
It does.
But winning is what they do. Is it like it's all they really aim for? Like
Yeah.
whether their own attempts at a team like worked out or
Mhm.
not, like it is a company that, as far as F1 history goes, especially in
Mhm.
the McLaren days and all, like had won races. Even fucking hell, even with Jordan and BAR, they won races.
Yeah, Jordan with the infamous what you call Spa race, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah, well,
in
like that's the thing.
nineties.
That was with the Mugen Honda, but like Honda were providing more and more support for that engine as it went, and
Mhm.
obviously then '99 they had the two races with Heinz Harald Frentzen and Jordan again.
Mhm.
Like, and I'll be honest, like I don't think without uh, what Jordan did that they would have came back to F1 as a works engine manufacturer, especially after
Jeez.
Harvey Postletoy back in the day dropped dead when he was trying to develop a Honda F1 car. Because that was what Honda looked like they were going to do, was
Yeah.
actually enter a works team, and ironically with Yoss as a driver. But like that test car got mothballed as soon as um, Harvey Postlethwaite was in the ground.
Mhm.
Like he's one of like fucking the great F1 technical minds that didn't really ever get credit because he was working for smaller teams predominantly.
Yeah.
Like he spent most of his later career with Tyrrell, but had also been at Ferrari and stuff. And like,
Mhm.
see, it seemed to be always one of those minds that like could work out things on a shoestring.
Absolutely. So what you call it? The other question, in fact, we haven't even chatted about because we did on about Hamilton is moving to Ferrari, and we don't know what's Max Verstappen future be like. So, who's going to be a Mercedes seat for 2025?
To be honest, yeah, I think they might end up going down the Ocon route for 2025.
Ocon.
Because I think he's going to end up leaving Alpine at the end of the season. He's an ex-Merc Junior driver. Him and Verline were the original like two Merc Juniors in
Mhm.
F1 that like Merc are paying for in like this era when they're about Marussia and sort of Manor,
Mhm.
whatever you want to call that team. But like they even like into his first India days, like they were still paying a portion of
Yeah, that's right.
cash for him, and like he's one of those. Like I don't think he'll cause necessarily Russell a lot of trouble.
Mhm.
He's a safe pair of hands, and like I just think Kimi Antonelli isn't ready,
Okay.
and that's I think ultimately that's who they want to put in that seat. Like you can see how invested Tauro is in trying to make that happen, but I think it'd be too early for him. Like thus far, like he's not set the world alight in F2. I know
Mhm.
there's this infamous test in the wet where he was like 4 seconds a lot faster than everyone, but testing's one thing, and you don't know how much effort or what programs anyone was on.
Mhm.
Like racing's another, and like thus far he's been respectful as a rookie, but he's not set the
No.
world alight.
Yeah, that's right. You know what do you call it? He haven't set the world alight in F2 as this far of the season. So let me get this F2 standings up there if I get a chance. There, my goodness me. He is P9 at the moment with 24, which is he's off by 38 points from say Maloney, who's currently a championship leader for F2.
Yeah, in fairness, Maloney had that what was it, a double win, wasn't it?
Yeah,
To start the
sprint
season off, and then
and feature.
didn't he have a podium? I think in Saudi as well. So he got a nice jump start over everyone
He
in
does.
that respect. But it's it's one of those. It's not the most amazing crop of F2 drivers we've ever seen
Mhm.
at the moment, and like I think that's as much talent. But like it's also they're all the teams are learning a new car. I do wonder if it was a situation where it was last season's car, say,
Mhm.
would there be a massive difference because obviously Prima have got that thing sorted so well,
Yeah, it definitely is. So what do you
and
call it? Any,
we see that with any of those sort of spec series when there's a car change that you do get some freak results early, and some teams figure out things quicker than others. But
it does.
like I'm not sure if it's like him or car. Like in fairness, like Behrman's not
Mm.
like set the world alight himself
To,
in F2 this season, but
to,
like what he did in that Ferrari, like Saudi,
mhm.
was fucking incredible.
It is. Like, is what do you call it? An uninspected result from Berman in that Jeddah race, which deservedly got driver of the day from that race altogether in the sole F1 race from this season.
I'll be honest. I think that driving Saudi put him in a similar position that Liam Lawson was effectively in
Yeah,
after
that's right.
like his sub appearances last year. Like I think it makes it very difficult to justify not giving them some sort of seat somewhere.
That's true. So,
But that's the big question mark. Like, is where the musical chairs are going to end? Because like, if it's like Ferrari are effectively losing a team that they were able to rely on putting
mhm,
like drivers in and Sauber, because like at this stage they're full steam ahead to the future Audi side of things. So
definitely.
like you wouldn't be shocked if you're about to see Hulk go there for 2 years.
No,
It's like that's it
uh,
looks like Zhao was finished,
yeah, it does.
and I know Bottas probably wants to stick around for Audi, but I don't think he's putting in the performances that anyone's gonna be going. You know what? This is what we need in our life.
Mhm.
Like I think for them, like obviously Norris re-signed with McLaren, took away one target, and then
Aye.
the other likely target might get a better opportunity elsewhere. And like that, I think that's the big key to 2025 is what Carlos Sainz does.
Yeah, that's right.
Because that like with the form he's in, like you could justify him going anywhere.
Exactly.
And
So,
like let's face it, like there's realistically only three, like two teams that he probably wants to go in current form,
hmm
unless he can somehow oust Stroll Jr. from Aston and goes and races the season with his idol.
I'd be surprised if Stroll move any team away
I think
from his dad.
you see that's the thing though. I think at this point that there's a extreme chance that he could end up in a Aston hypercar
Yeah.
and go sports car racing because it's not like there's the progress. He's going backwards. Zellman's
Mm.
spent whatever amount of money at this stage with that, and there's sort of like in the last few months there's been those sort of whispers that like he's looking to get out of that business or potentially
Was it?
might sell up parts of either the team or Aston as a going concern. So like if that came to fruition, like that weakens Stroll's claim to a seat a bit.
hmm
And it's like he is the most dispensable member of that team now that Fernando's re-signed.
Yeah. For an extra
Like,
year.
I'll be quite honest here. Like, if and a lot depends on obviously how some of this shakes out.
hmm
There's like three drivers on the market that all have um, previous with Sauber, and in fairness, like all three of them, like potentially for Audi would be like attainable money
Yeah.
wise, and like they might be willing to go for it. Like, if it was a situation where you were talking the potential of, like, say Perez going back there,
hmm
or Hulk, who seems to be the one that they're gravitating towards, because it looks like Audi have a lot more faith in him than potentially hunting Mick Schumacher.
Yeah.
Because there doesn't seem to be any other real
Wait.
German option. Like if Seb's coming back, the only way he's coming back is in America.
hmm
And like it's one of those that that could be a big element of
Yes.
the merry-go-round. Like,
Yeah.
but
Exactly.
the big question would be there is like, do you think that Seb would come back with the risk of a 1 year contract? Because I don't.
No.
But if they do that, then they have to put Antonelli elsewhere. Like, and they don't really have any choice other than the hope that Williams will take him. And you've still got then, and like obviously speculation around him's cooled off because
Yeah.
the Williams has been a bit shit. Like you've still got the big question of what happens with Albon.
That's true.
Like, and that like it's one of the it's one of the maddest silly seasons that we've seen in a
It
while.
is.
Because there's so many permutations, so many
It's,
artists that potentially could go into 1C.
it's kind of like remind me of back in Oscar Piastri fiasco when
Yeah,
what he called. I'm not agree with what he called what Alpine just said. That type of way. Then either a week later or two, he signed for McLaren.
yeah.
So
Like that was the summer of McLaren just signing everyone.
yeah, exactly.
You had the Piastri moment, and then you had the whatchamacallit, Alex Palou
Yeah,
practically putting out the same statement, and obviously he then just went, well, like I'm gonna stay at Ganassi, and he's still getting sued for that. And Pato O'Ward, I think, got a nice pay rise that Palou is probably gonna be paying out of his own pocket.
that's true. So
But
Go on.
Is it like it's always the fun with the driver markets. You never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. So it's too early for Miami prediction because it's next week, so leave that one for a time being. So what do you call it? I think near around. So wait, for this one. So going to ask you the last couple of questions there. Who's your top 5 League of Ireland drivers of all time?
Ooh, that's look. Yeah, no, having to go to the ones that are the most anyway. Like Big Pat's definitely there. Andy, Tommy. Okay, and then you get into the more difficult area. It's like if you're talking speed now, you're probably talking Owen. Obviously, given what he's doing, and then like you have a smorgasbord of lads that were like champions, like Sully, fucking not Jack, fucking. If Brendan, obviously you've lads that like have been close to a championship but not quite got there, like the Saucies and Fanjos of the world. Like, it's fairly hard to tell. Like, I think it's easier to like put a top 3 or 4, and then there's a group of lads that you could do. There's no right or wrong answer there.
Yeah, definitely no way or wrong answers. In fairness, so.
Well, not like that's the thing. You've also like lads when like Paddy was dominating and like Scuba that were like mega fast, and then any other league might have been threats. Like it's one of those that you start to like go, Jesus, you're trying to rack your head through those who've had it. Like the Dan O'M's another one that's been a constant, and like obviously he's got a championship himself.
That's right.
Well, yeah, like that's a difficult one.
Fair enough. So what do you call it? Things you would like to see in League of Ireland?
Just like full grids, hard racing. I think that's that's the easiest. It's
fair enough.
Obviously, for all of us, I think we prefer to see as many on the grid that are competitive with each other. Like I'm not a big fan of like a full grid for the sake of a full grid sort of thing, but like if you're having like 17, 18 drivers a week and like say the tiers covered by a second, like that's the ideal, I think, for everyone. And just hopefully not too many incidents if you're on the stewarding side of teams.
Well, anyway, John, thank you very much for jumping on to the podcast there, sir.
Cheers for having me, Dale.
No problem. I think that is wrap things up for this podcast. Thank you all for jumping onto the stream. It's much appreciated. I'm back in the commentary box with Fanjo for Tier 2 action in the Styria Mountains of Austria at 9:30 on Monday evening. And until then, it is good night and God bless. Take it easy and peace.